So I'm going to get you started with what you guys will need software-wise to start the year in computer science A. There's really three things that we're going to start with. The first thing that we're going to get is going to allow us to actually run Java programs. So it's called the JDK. What that stands for is Java Development Kit. So we actually need to install software on the computer that allows us to compile and then run Java programs. As far as what that means, we don't need to worry about right now. We'll figure that out later. But we'll need that to get started. We're also going to need some place to actually write the programs that we have. So the IDE, which is an integrated development environment that we're going to use, is called Atom. It's actually what I'm writing in right now, but we'll talk about downloading that in a second. And then the last thing that we're going to need is a place that allows us to actually upload and store the things that we work on. It's called GitHub, and we're actually going to use something called Github Desktop. So those are three things that we're going to go out and install. The first one, we'll start with the JDK. So we're actually going to find this online. You can find the JDK a whole bunch of different places. Oracle is actually the group that puts it out, but we're going to find it someplace a little bit easier. So it's called adoptopenjdk.net, I believe, and it is. So I can go to adoptopenjdk, and what it allows me to do is just makes it easier for me to install JDK that I'm going to want. It has all the different versions. 16 is the latest one. We're going to stick with 11 because it's one of the last big JDKs that they put out at this point. So we're going to see how this goes because I already have it installed, and so we're going to see if I actually get shut down here. So we're going to download it, and then we're going to run it. And this is just the installer. So I'm going to go and install it, and the window is going to pop up on the wrong screen. I want to make sure that I do, in fact, add to path and install this associated jar. So the jar is a Java archive. And so if I just leave this alone, I think I'm good. Yeah, this should all be fine. All right, next, and I'll install it. It didn't stop me, which is nice. We'll see what that did to my recording. Oh, it's working, okay. No, finish. Hopefully that doesn't ruin my day when I try to actually run things here in a second. So that's installed. That's going to allow us to actually run our Java programs. All right, so I'm done with this. The next thing that I'm going to need is Atom. So Atom is actually an IDE that's made by, or IDE, not IED, an IDE that's made by the same group that makes GitHub. So it's there, it's open source. It's real basic, but we want to start with real basic. We don't want to have a whole bunch of bells and whistles just yet. So you can go to the website. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to download this one because I already have it. But you just hit download. You'll get an installer, and then we'll actually be able to write some things with it. Okay. And then the last thing that I'm going to tell you to pick up is called GitHub Desktop. So GitHub Desktop. It's right here. All right. So what this is going to allow us to do is it's a versioning software for us. So this allows me to push out things to you guys so that you can download them, work on them, and then push them back to me so that I can grade them. It also is going to allow you guys to collaborate later. And so multiple people can be working on one version of a project. But so you're going to download this and install it as well. This one is, there's a little bit more to it. You're going to have to actually create a GitHub account and then join our classroom, of which I'll give you the join code at a later date. So those are the three things to install. What we maybe should have done first, well, I wasn't going to do first because I knew that it was going to work, was check to see if I have Java already installed on my machine. And so what we're going to need is Atom at least to be able to write something, and then we're going to run it through the command prompt. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just write a really quick program. None of it's going to make sense to you yet because you haven't written a program in Java before, but that's okay. So the way that I start my programs is with public and class, and then I need to give this the name of the file that I created. So I just created a new file. So I have a folder over here. I just created a new file. I called it helloworld.java. .java is obviously the type of file that we have. It's going to be a Java program. And so I need to say public class and then hello world with the same capitalization and everything. And then the next line is going to make no sense to you yet, but it's going to be this: public static void main, and then parentheses, and then string. This is an array, which we actually already learned about, but not really yet. And then this function. And so we need to ask it, we're just going to ask it to print something out for us. And it's going to be hello world, classic, first program, so system.out.print line. And then we're just asking it to say hello world, exclamation point. I need to end this with a semicolon, save. All right, so real basic program. Don't really care how it works right yet, but we're just going to try and run it. So what I'm going to do is I need to navigate to that file in my command prompt. So there's two main things that we're going to need to navigate through my directories. So right now I am in my C drive in the users, and this is my username. And so let's say that I am in the wrong spot. I actually need to go up. What I'm going to do is use the command cd, so cd for change directory. If I want to go up, I'm going to say cd ... and that takes me up a directory. So now I'm in users, and if I do it again, I am all the way then in just my C drive. If I want to go down, if I want to go into a specific folder, what I can do is I can type cd, and then, so I actually was in the right place. I just need to go down now. So cd, change directory again, and then tell it the folder I want to go into. So cd users, and then I'm going to go cd back to my username. And so let's say I don't know where I'm going now. I don't know what files or folders are inside this folder that I'm currently in. So the other command I'm going to use is dir, stands for directory. So please tell me all the things that are currently in the directory that I'm in. So if I hit enter, it'll tell me those are all my things in my user folder. And so I actually have this saved on my desktop. Probably not a great idea, but that's where it's at. So I'm going to say cd desktop, and then it's in a folder called Java files. So I can actually start typing this, and if I hit tab, it'll autocomplete, and I can cycle through all the things that start with JA. There's only one, but hit that. And so there's not a lot in here. In fact, you can see all the files that are in my Java files right over here. So I can ask it again, hey, what's in there? And those are the things. So the one that I'm actually trying to run is the hello world.java. And hello world.java, it isn't in a runnable state. It's in a state that's very readable to us, but not readable by the computer. And so we need to compile it into the machine code that can actually run on the Java virtual machine than on the computer. The way that we do that is we ask the computer to compile it for us. So Java C, all right, Java compile, and then we want to tell it the thing that we want, which is hello world.java. I want you to compile this into something that's readable by the computer. So I do that. It's going to take a second. Nothing's going to happen. But if you noticed right over here in my folder, there's now a new file. It's hello world.class. And if I open that, it's just going to be a bunch of garbage that I can't read. But the computer can read it. That's all that really matters. So the question is, how do I actually run this then? And the answer is, well, I'm going to say Java, so just the Java command for running, and then I'm going to tell it the name of my class. If I do that, I hit enter, it says hello world, which is exactly what I wanted it to print out. So those are the three big things that we're going to need. This is how I test to make sure that Java is actually working. If it's not, then we'll probably have to troubleshoot. But that is all for now.